So I'm Rory Fitzgerald, Director of European Social Survey, Eric. Maybe I'll take the first question first, actually, the second question first, rather, how we got started. So ESS was very much a bottom-up project. It came about because scholars, particularly in sociology and political science, were finding it difficult to make comparisons using existing cross-national data. When they came to look at the cross-national data sets, they often found them poorly documented, based on very different sampling procedures, not very good translation procedures, and sort of quite poor question design. And so scholars came together through the European Science Foundation and made the case for an input harmonized cross-national social survey. And I was very pleased to hear from Gary that Guide tends to go down the input harmonized route, because I think it's quite difficult sometimes for cross-national surveys to stay like that. So I think that's really, really important to hear. Once they'd come up with the idea for the ESS, there was a blueprint that was written, and then the European Commission provided some funding for the central coordination of ESS, and the countries paid their own national funds. And we've been doing the survey every 2 years since 2002. So things were a bit different for us. We were up and running, and then later on, we became a formal legal infrastructure. And Eric, that happened in 2013. So it's almost 10 years ago that we became an Eric. And we now have a model where we work through the European Research Infrastructure Consortium. So the 28 members of that organization provide us with the funding for the central coordination of the project, about 2.6 million euros a year. And then each country funds its own national coordinator and fieldwork for those surveys that we do every 2 years. So that's how we got up and running. It was a different kind of route to you, because when we started, originally there were no ERICs or legal structures, so things have changed. A little bit about the ESS itself. So it's a general cross-national social survey, so it has many different topics rather than a kind of single focus. First of all, it's questionnaire, which is about an hour long, has 2 parts. A core questionnaire that stays the same more or less in every round, has crucial topics like democracy, trust, religion, well-being, health, and very detailed demographic information as well. And then an open competition that happens every 2 years, where teams of academics bid together to design part of the module. And if there's anyone here who's interested in putting a team together, that call will open actually in January. So please look out for that. The fieldwork itself was always conducted in a single mode of data collection until the last round. That was face-to-face in-home surveys. Actually, in the early rounds, it still involved paper and pencil collection as well as CAPI, but eventually it became a complete CAPI survey. And lots of focus on high quality methodology. So a lot of focus on the sampling to make that equivalent between countries, even if you're using a different sampling frame. Advanced translation and questionnaire design processes that take sort of many months or years to do. Careful fieldwork quality control, working jointly between the centre and the national teams. And really a lot of focus as well on the archiving and building that archiving in to the central team. So we don't just get to the end and send the data archive our data. We work with the archivists sort of from the beginning to the end of the process. Data access, over 200,000 registered users of the data since we started making it available, many of whom are students, about 2/3 of those are students. And that's resulted in about 6,500 publications. Just over 1,000 mentions of ESS in the media sort of every year. And also quite a lot of focus on policy impact as well.